Because it does seem, I mean, they cannot count on, Bernie Sanders isn't even a member of the party. They do need some sort of a leader, someone to rally around.
Joy Reid and Lawerence O'Donnell are often considered to be two of the more progressive people on MSNBC. Now, I'm going to show you some clips from this weekend. Joy Reid had Lawerence on her show, and they had a discussion about Congress, and then it eventually moves on to a place I'm going to get to where Joy Reid just shows that she doesn't really understand how the Democratic Party can reach out. But first, I want to show clips of Lawerence, because Lawerence makes some really good points in this appearance. So let's start with the first one.
A lot of this has to do with who the members of Congress actually are now, and they truly, in every sense, are not the same people they used to be. There are, and this is on both sides, but people who run for the House of Representatives in order to be lobbyists. They want to do 4 years, 6 years, and get a job on K Street and wildly increase their income. That's not who used to run for the House on either side, in either party. So those people, when you look at who they were, they had much more nobility of purpose than the current makeup, and that's and you know, and it's true on both sides, by the way. I mean, the personnel quality level has dropped dramatically in the Congress, and so that's something we haven't talked about in this delayed, if it is that delayed, reaction to what is really going on in Trump world.
So Lawerence is comparing Congress now compared to Congress in the 70s, and makes a great point, saying that Congress now, a lot of the people running in politics at the federal level often do it simply to make more money down the line, compared to back before 1980, when people in Congress actually gave a shit about issues and people. But he doesn't take the point all the way. He doesn't go into why it changed. And the reason it changed, the main reason it changed, and it started in the late 70s, early 80s, is because in 1976, Buckley v. Valeo happened, which was a Supreme Court ruling that got rid of limits on election spending. They ruled that limits on election spending are unconstitutional, which paved the way for corporations to come in and other big organizations to come in and simply buy politicians. Now I want to go to this next clip where Lawerence brings up Bernie Sanders and why he believes that he became so popular.
Bernie Sanders' rise, I think, was fueled almost entirely by the sense that this guy's honest. And you know what one of the biggest indicators was that this guy's honest? It was okay with him if you called him a socialist.
Right.
And he would say, yeah, I am. And everyone in America knows, wow, that's the worst word you can have beside your name in American politics, you know, other than possibly Muslim. And he just says it. He must be honest. Right. You know, like the actual particulars that follow that, you know, are less important than his. And by the way, that's not something I believed at the outset. It's something a theory I developed as I watched this.
So I think Lawerence makes a good point there that Bernie's honesty really helped to fuel his popularity. But I also think Lawerence undercuts how important policy positions are. So Bernie Sanders really was the only candidate in either party pushing policy. Every time he was interviewed, he would talk about healthcare and college tuition and economic anxiety and minimum wage and all of these positions where he had a policy proposal to address that. So while I do believe that Bernie's honesty and the way he comes off was a major factor, especially when attracting people of the opposite party, I think it's important to not misrepresent how important what the words that came out of Bernie's mouth actually were. Because it wasn't just about how Bernie carried himself, it was also what he was saying. Now, I want to get on to this Joy Reid clip. So, Joy Reid turns the conversation to the Democrats and who the leader of the Democrats should be. So just watch this exchange. There's a lot that I'm going to unpack here after this clip.
I do want to talk about the Democrats just a little bit, because it does seem, I mean, they cannot count on, Bernie Sanders isn't even a member of the party. They do need some sort of a leader, someone to rally around. You still have a lot of division between the Sanders and Clinton factions in the party. They don't seem to have much unity. California just had a race for the leader of the Democratic Party there in the state. It was very divisive. Black woman lost, establishment guy won. There doesn't seem to be a lot of, I don't know, leadership nationally. Do you see anyone emerging who could actually lead the
Here is exactly. The next president of the United States is literally a guy no one's ever heard of in 1973, Jimmy Carter. Okay,
Yeah.
he wasn't. There was no leader of the party. There was no leader of the party. They did just fine in the next presidential
But
election.
there are certain people. There's Maxine Waters, who's really exciting to a lot of people. People don't think she's running for president, right? So there are leaders of pieces of the party. But it does feel like without someone to speak for them, the Democrats do feel like they are all over the place. Can they wait for?
Yeah, but I mean,
hello, Bernie Sanders. Like, okay, this is what really annoys me about mainstream media and Joy Reid, because Joy Reid always takes this position and it doesn't make any sense. Bernie Sanders doesn't need to be a Democrat on paper in order for him to be a leader of the party. Bernie Sanders is currently the most popular politician in America. And this is based on polling. This is based on multiple polls. Most recently, a Harvard poll. So when you have the most popular politician in America caucusing with the Democrats, that's something you should be taking advantage of. But Joy Reid and all these pundits like her who play this team sport game where if you're not on the team, then you can't represent it. It's bullshit. It doesn't matter. People don't care. Most people now consider themselves independents anyways. So why the hell does it matter if Bernie Sanders is a Democrat on paper or not? He caucuses with the Democrats and he pushes a progressive message. That's all that should matter. And Lawerence here actually makes a pretty good point that it really doesn't matter right now. We don't need to anoint a leader at the moment because really a leader naturally emerges, and one already has emerged. Bernie Sanders has naturally emerged as a leader, but people like Joy Reid don't want to recognize that. And it's going to be even more obvious in 2 years, in 2018, and in 4 years, when everyone's going to want Bernie's endorsement, because Bernie's endorsement leads to more popularity for that candidate. So pundits like Joy Reid need to realize that politics is not a team sport. It's people's lives. And Bernie Sanders, being the most popular politician in America and caucusing with the Democrats, you may want to, I don't know, try and put him in front of the party and use him as an example to look to. Because with the majority of people being independent anyways, it doesn't matter if the leader is a Democrat on paper or not.